Hello and welcome to CSCI 135, Introduction to Programming. My name is Corey Nance and I'll be your instructor this semester. I wanted to create this video so that I could introduce myself as well as show you how the course is laid out here in Moodle. So let's go ahead and get started. We can do that here in the Getting Started module. Where I want to start is by looking at the course syllabus. So you can find that under the Read section. So the first page here just has some basic information, the course name, section, academic term. So this is a 2018 Fall 1 term. That means that it's only a 7-week class. Uh, Therefore, usually like to note here that it's going to require twice the amount of work that you normally put into on a weekly basis into a 16-week class just due to the short nature of it. There are no prereqs. A little bit of information here about me as far as contact. My email address, canance@coastal.edu. It's probably the best way to get a hold of me. You can also call my office phone. Feel free to leave a voicemail there and I'll return your call. And I also use Slack heavily in my online classes. So this is a sign up link for the CCU CSCI department Slack. If you click on that, it'll go ahead and walk you through the account creation, and then you can go ahead and join some of the chat rooms that we have. So there'll be one specifically for CSCI 135, and in there you're free to talk about Python, anything related to the class. You can ask questions. I'll be in there to answer questions, but also feel free to answer questions if you know the answer to them. My office location is in building AOC2, room 237, and my office hours are Tuesday and Thursday, 9:30 a.m. to 11:45 a.m., and Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. The textbook that we're going to use for the course is not a traditional textbook. It's something called a zybook, which is like to describe it as an interactive ebook. There's a setup tutorial here, but basically what you need to do is go to zybooks.com, enter this code, and click subscribe. There are access codes available in the library if you want to purchase from there. If not, I believe you can just use a credit card when you go through the sign up. I do put a little note down here that if you need to wait until financial aid checks are mailed, then you can email support@zybooks.com and ask for a deferment. So I'd highly recommend that you do that because I don't accept late assignments and can't make any exceptions for not having the book because you can just email support and they will go ahead and give you access now. So technology for the course, you just need a computer capable of running Python 3. Any major operating system can do that, so Windows, Mac OS, Linux, any of those can run Python. So I'd say no Chromebooks or tablets here because typically you can't run Python on those. You also need a high-speed internet connection. That's so that you can access Moodle as well as the lecture videos which are available on YouTube. The final exam for this course will take place on October 4th, 2018. With this being a distance learning course, it won't be in person, so it will be one that you'll be able to complete remotely. So real quick, course description. This course provides an introduction to computer programming using a dynamically typed language. So in our case, that dynamic language is going to be Python. And topics include algorithm development, input and output, conditional statements, loops, functions, and use of basic data structures. So some of this I'll let you guys read through. These are our student learning outcomes that are part of the department for accreditation. We are ABET accredited. Currently, the IT program is too new to be accredited as of now, but I believe ABET's coming next year, and we hope to go ahead and get the program accredited then. So in preparation for that, we're using the SLOs as part of the course, and they map to our course objectives. So communication, I had mentioned that email is probably the best way to get a hold of me. If you do send me an email, please be sure to include our course in the subject line, so CSCI 135. Phone, if you give me a call and leave a voicemail, make sure to leave your name, course number, callback number, and just a brief message. Um, my voicemails are, after you leave them, they get attached to an email and sent to me. So even if I'm not in the office, I will still get your voicemail as I'm out and checking my email. The grades for this course are broken down into 4 different categories. We're going to have programs that are 35% of our grade, labs are 25%, the final exam is 30%, and homework is 10%. The grading scale that I use is the standard university 10-point grading scale. 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, and so on. Do award B pluses, C pluses, and D pluses if you're in the upper bounds of those ranges. So student feedback, this is what you can expect from me, is that all assignments will be graded and returned in Moodle within 5 business days. Emails will be answered by the end of the next business day. So what that means is basically a 24-hour response time. Worst case scenario is you send me an email on Friday afternoon and I don't return it until Monday just because I may have something going on that weekend. But typically 24-hour response time, and I'll do my best to respond as quickly as possible. There might be some times this semester where I'll need to travel, and if I do, or if I get sick and have to cancel office hours, then I'll be sure to send out an email so everyone's aware. Instructional activities, that's going to primarily be readings out of the book as well as lectures. And those lectures, again, are video lectures that are uploaded to YouTube. Assessments, these are just the same categories that we're being graded on: labs, programs, final exam, and homework. Due dates, do want to specify that I don't accept late work, so all assignments are due by 11:59 p.m. of the Moodle time, so it's here in the Eastern time zone. Not sure what happened here with the text, but it looks like that moved. So if you are having trouble, please be sure to come in and ask for help so that I can help you. Come in during office hours. If we need to, we can set up a time outside of office hours if those aren't convenient. We also have a tutoring center here in room 215, building AOC 2. And in there are 2 or 3, maybe even 4 tutors that are able to help with the content in this course, so Python programming. Attendance, for us, this is a distance course, so a lot of this in-person stuff doesn't apply, but this distance stuff does. An absence is operationally defined as a missed online submission deadline, such as a quiz, assignment, or discussion post. This is especially important here in the first week because the university policy is if you are absent during the first week, so in our case, if you don't submit an assignment that's due here in the first week, then you have to be reported to the registrar as not attending. And when that happens, the registrar subsequently drops you from the course. So please make sure that you do turn in an assignment here in week 1 if you're planning to stay in the course. Any makeups for exams or assignments will not be allowed without prior approval. So I'm usually pretty flexible. If you let me know ahead of time, I can work with you and we can adjust due dates if need be. But after the fact, I'm usually not flexible at that point. So I'll let you read through the classroom code of conduct and particularly the online code of conduct, since we'll be using Slack a little bit. Academic integrity. So all work in this class is expected to be completed individually unless stated otherwise. One thing I want to point out here is that it's course policy that any offense of plagiarism or cheating will result in a grade of FX for the course and will be referred to the university's academic integrity officer. So what this boils down to is it's okay to talk high level about assignments with other students. It's not okay to share your source code with another student. It's also not okay to Google or find a solution on the internet and use that as your own. It is fine to do research on the internet to figure out how to do certain steps or processes that you may need to do in your program and incorporate that into your source code. And anytime you do that, I recommend it's standard practice to put a comment in your source code saying where you got your idea from, similar to how we cite things when we write papers. Okay, so this is just an excerpt from the Code of Student Conduct. You can find that here on the link. Um, Again, I'll let you guys read through this. Disability accommodations. So if you have a documented disability, please get into our Accessibility and Disability Services department. Get them a copy of that, and what they'll do is they'll give you a form that you can give to me that tells me what sort of accommodations I can make for you. Until then, I'm not allowed to make any accommodations, so if that applies to you, please get in with that office as soon as possible. Lastly is some student services links. These are just general services around campus that I think may be beneficial for you to know about. Of particular interest here would be our distance learning support services. If this is the first time you've ever taken a distance learning course, I think that would be very beneficial to check this out. Additionally, there is tech support from Student Computing Services, or here's a direct link to their help desk, and they can help you out with any sort of laptop issues that you may be having or software operating system type issues that may occur. Lastly, just a standard disclaimer down here at the bottom. I do reserve the right to make changes to the syllabus, and if I do make any changes to it, I'll make sure to notify everyone. That'll be done through an announcement in Moodle, which also gets emailed to you. Um, if the syllabus is updated, this is a Google Doc, so you'll be able to see the changes immediately if you just follow the link from Moodle, and I'll be sure to include any detail like that in the email. Alright, so that's our course syllabus. Let's take a look next at the tentative schedule. So this is how, knock on wood, I hope that or I plan for this semester to go. We're right here in week 1. So week 1 starts on 8/20, and what we're going to cover this week is the Getting Started module and Chapter 1, the Introduction module. As part of that, I have listed on the side here any of the major assignments that are going to be due. And you'll notice that these are the same as the categories that we have for grading. So Chapter 1, we're going to have homework and we're going to have a couple labs. And then what's going to become standard is for every other chapter, we're going to have homework, a lab, and a program. So you can expect that every week. And we're going to cover one chapter a week. We have a 7-week semester, so our last week here, which ends a little bit early on 10/4, which is our final exam date, we're just going to have the final exam. All of these assignments are going to be due by 11:59 p.m. of the week, Friday of the week that they are assigned, unless noted otherwise. And right now, the only exception to that would be the final exam. I do have some important dates listed down here. The last day to add or drop a course for Fall 1 would be 8/25. Labor Day is September 3rd, so that's a student holiday. We won't have any in-person classes that day. 9/18 is the last day to drop with a graded W for the Fall 1 semester, and 10/3 is the last day of classes for the Fall 1 semester. Alright, so here in the Getting Started module, what I want for you to complete is getting Python installed. I have a video here um, installing Python that walks you through the process. Basically, you just need to go to the download site, You click on the correct download link. There's two major versions of Python, and there are differences between them. So please make sure that you're downloading Python 3 dot something, because that is the version that we're going to be using here in this course. All right, so going back, what I want to do is show you what a typical module looks like. So Chapter 1, Introduction. I break all of my modules down like this. We have module learning outcomes at the top. These are high-level outcomes that are expected after you complete the module. I have a watch section, which has usually 1 to 3 lecture videos in there. I have a read section, which for the most part just means read the chapter, and any supplemental materials like lecture slides that I used in the video will also be posted here. And then I have a complete section, so you know exactly what it is that you got to do for that week. So complete for chapter 1 is homework and labs. So that brings us to, let's take a look at the textbook real quick. You can click these links and they will take you directly to the textbook. And they actually take you directly to the assignment too that we're going to be working on. So this one is for chapter 1 homework, and it shows what all sections are part of that. So saying section 1.1 is part of assignment 1. If you look off to the left here, you'll see you can browse through the textbook. We are only going to cover in this course chapters 1 through 6, and then in the next course we'll go all the way to 11 in 145. So when you're looking at the chapter and you break it down, you're seeing the different sections in here. Basically all of the sections are the homework, and then at the end you'll have labs. And just real quick, let's look at chapter 2 here. You'll see programs as well. So that's the distinction there between those grading categories. We have labs, programs, homework, and then our final exam will be linked at the end of the semester. So what is the homework? As you're going through the chapter and you're completing all of these sections, you'll see that there's participation activities. So if we click on this participation activity, what it's going to do is it's, in this case, it is an animation, and it's showing me how the computer program is being executed. So that's step 1. We can go to 2, and I'll just speed this up a little bit. 3. And then lastly, step 4, we get some output here, and you'll see that there's a checkbox up here at the top. So that means I've completed this participation activity. So as you're going through, participation activities will be different. This one is a fill in the blank, and you can check your answer. Well, you have to check your answer to get credit, but if you can't figure it out, you can hit show answer and it'll show you. Typically, the answers will be found right above the participation activity, because that's the content that is trying to make sure that you're absorbing correctly. There are another type of activity known as a challenge activity. I don't think there's any here in chapter 1, so let me jump over to chapter 2 and see if I can find some. Let's see. So the nice thing that I like about the Zai book is it's not heavy on the reading. A lot of the material you'll get out of the video lecture, but then what you are reading is its main points, exactly what it is that you need to understand, and then it tests it frequently throughout through these participation activities. Additionally, here we go. Here's a challenge activity. So a challenge activity is sort of like a really small program that you'll have to typically just modify or add to in order to complete. So in this case, it says your solution goes here. This is a comment, and don't worry, the book explains all of that. But we would just erase that and put whatever code we needed to in order for the output to look like this. And then we would run it, and it shows us what our output is, but then also what the expected output is. So now I can go back and I can start modifying this to make it work correctly. Once you pass it, you'll get check marks or a shield here in one test passed and all tests passed. Now, it's my understanding that uh, with these participation and challenge activities, the first time you get something wrong, it does not count against you. However, if you keep trying and getting things wrong, it will start to take points off the percentage that you got completed with a 100. So what that means is, and the intent behind that is that you don't come in and just start brute forcing the answers. So you're not, okay, I'll just try all of these and awesome, I got 3 out of 5 correct and now I can change these. So this is maybe a bad example because I was able to change it once. Um, but just realize that, you know, if you're having a hard time with it, maybe come out and try working on this program. You can just copy the code and paste it into your own source file and run it on your computer until you get it correct, and then you can come back and put the correct source code in here to check it off. Now, um, understanding that and understanding that you will get some things wrong, the way that your homework grade is computed is it's the average. I take the average of these participation and challenge activities from all of these sections, and then if you scored an 80% or higher, so a B or greater on those activities, as a summation or an average, then I give you a 100 for homework. If you scored less than an 80, then I just give you whatever percentage that was. So if you scored a 75, then I would just record a 75 that week. And what I found is so you're not too anxious about this, is if you're genuinely going through and you're reading and you're trying these participation and challenge activities in all the semesters that I've used zybook, I haven't had anyone complain about getting less than an 80. For the most part, everyone who is trying gets a 100 on the homework. The labs, these are more more or less you're writing your own programs. So I actually have a separate lab video and I'll let you go through that. Um, but that is graded separately and not part of the homework. Okay, so hopefully that all made sense. If not, just reach out to me. I'd be happy to try to explain the zybook a little bit better. I know that they have some sort of introductory material that explains some of how the zybook works. But once you get familiar with it and we get through this first chapter, I think it becomes pretty easy to understand. So every chapter is going to be like that. We'll have a watch, a read, and then a complete. Alright, so I think that covers everything I wanted to go over here in this introductory video. Look forward to a great semester and working with everyone. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Thank you.